Well, it was really fun because it ended up being in 12 magazines. Well, this was kind of early into the engine cover thing, so It got special attention. I actually covered auto racing in Europe in the early 70s. And
oh, really?
It was stolen and abandoned on the Ohio Turnpike in 1957. I bought these cars and started on the restorations.
So this is an
original paint survivor. But I wanted them to look like the wheel covers that came on 61 Thunderbirds. This car had a purple velour interior, 6 taillights, a rear spoiler. And he said, I want this Ford truck out of here. So
wow,
that was how it started.
Welcome back, guys. A little bit different episode for you this week. We're obviously not in the garage. We're in the free fair lane. The old sweet as can be starts every time. Cold start. So good. So good. Aww.
Aww.
Anyways, we are on our way to look at an incredible collection of cars. I met a man this summer at a car show that we put on that is a car designer, and he's invited us to come down and look at his collection of custom cars, and you are not going to believe some of the stuff that he's got here. Caitlin is looking forward to it, right, Caitlin?
That's not me. Yes,
right,
I am.
So thanks for joining us this week on Crossroad Garage and Salvage. We're actually waiting on some parts to come in for the front suspension on Caitlin's truck. We haven't given up on swapping the 41 cab onto that 2000 Power Stroke, but
we have 3 months.
We don't have the parts to do it. So this is what you're getting this week from us. It's another look at an amazing car collection. I don't know about you, though. I'm ready for some dinner.
Me too. Which reminds me, when I was out at dinner last week, as I was about to leave, this waitress, she looks at my food, and she goes, you want a box for that? And I look at her, and I was like, no, but I will wrestle you for it.
If you enjoy what you see this week, tell them what to do, Caitlin.
Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.
You heard it from the authority.
I was done, son. Hi.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Steve.
Good to see you again.
Same here.
It's my daughter, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
What's going on?
Well, we're here to look at some cars.
Cool. Well, we've got some.
I've seen a few of them, but I haven't seen even a few that I'm seeing on the pictures on the walls here. Are these all of your designs here?
Those are the 8 that we've done so far.
So this is this the Buick that we saw last year?
Yeah.
And then this is the one you brought to our show this year. So
yes.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll start where you want to start.
I guess one of the buildings outside.
Take us to the show.
All right, let's go.
All right, so this summer was the GTO celebration at Good Guys. Were you a part of that?
Yes.
So you were out
60th?
there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that this car was yours, but I remember walking past this one in the lineup and seeing it. That's incredible. So tell us a little bit about the GTO project.
Well, this normally the projects start with a solid, clean base, but since the GTO is an original GTO and first year, it took a lot of work. We found out after we started doing media blasting that the rear quarter where you are right now was pop riveted on the car.
Oh,
and so essentially the quarters, the front fenders, and everything else was massaged. So the only thing that was totally okay was the roof and the hood.
Wow.
So it was a good start. But
so did you build this for yourself, or was this a customer built car?
This was for myself. This was basically the 4th car as Penn Found Design. Yeah, this was kind of the first major modern muscle car thing.
Wow.
But the others were a little more straightforward customs.
I mean, even down to just
there's a lot of details.
The reveal. When Barry brought his cars to our show this summer, I just remember walking past it 3 or 4 times, and then every time I walked past, I saw something different. Man, this is just incredible. There's so much going on here.
The idea is somebody can look at it in 5 minutes, or somebody can look at it for an hour.
Wow.
And that way, the main thing is, do you like how it looks?
Yeah.
That's the start.
I love how
after that you go from there.
I love how it looks.
But Well, this all started with there was fake plastic engine turning on the dash on 64 GTOs.
Uh-huh.
So that ended up being kind of an element for the whole car.
And this is not fake plastic.
No, this is all metal. So it was used for the grille, for the back panel,
Yeah.
and for all the interior components and the door panels.
Wow. Look at this up here, Caitlin. The tachometer here. I don't know if you can see that through there.
I try to make sure the cars have Pontiac elements. If it's Pontiac,
Yeah.
make sure that there's some relation to it. Like these were similar style on a full-size Pontiac 2+2 in that era. Everything is
So are
kind of,
those functional vents then? They actually go through?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with the door handles here? Is it
One of the doors I've really fallen in love with is C6 Corvette. And that's what these are. It's got an electric release built into it. So that's all you have to do is press a button inside. I like it because it's a very stylish way to still have a door handle.
So before we're done here today, we're going to get this thing started and you guys can hear it run because I'm sure it sounds as good as it looks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So don't go anywhere. We got a few more cars to see. But let's pop the hood and see what's going on underneath here. Can you do that for us, Barry?
Yep.
Pontiac block. Looks like Edelbrock heads.
It's the original motor.
So this is the original motor.
Yeah, but it's bored out to 449 cubic inches.
That would explain
Yeah.
the 449.
And it's a newer tri-power setup that was built, and we used it for this and try to have it look as much Pontiac as possible.
So I'm looking around here. You obviously have some memorabilia and stuff going on. And by the way, I really like the old KTM bike. But this isn't a shop where things are being built right here.
No.
So where are these being built?
Essentially, the way I do it is I'm the kind of general contractor designer. So I get the format together and establish the ground rules and then let guys work in their own shops.
Okay.
So the upholstery guy has done all the cars, the guy that I use, but usually different groups for each car.
Different builders.
Yeah.
Is the paint a custom color or is that?
Yeah. I work with PPG with their stylist studio.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of sit down. And for this car, I like the start with the blue, but I said, this car is going to have a red interior. So can you get some red in it? And there actually is some red in there.
Yeah, I can see it on the highlights.
And then we do this
I love
thing.
the flat.
Yeah, that's
matte
something
under
that
the-
I kind of do each time is use a flat version of the body color because it lets the engine stand out.
Yeah. You said as we walked in here, it's been getting a lot of attention. Is that like just at shows or has there been, publications or studios that have been
I kind
looking
of
at it?
I've got a marketing, advertising kind of background. So I tend to do a lot of media as well for especially printed stuff.
Yeah.
So this was just in a GTO Association of America magazine 2 months ago.
Okay.
So it's kind of all part of the 60th anniversary thing.
So how long has it been finished?
This car was done in 2012.
So tell me about the wheels. You mentioned these are from Boyd Coddington's shop. Of course, Boyd's dead now, but
Well, this was actually, Boyd himself was involved in this. It was one of the last things he did. I wanted the wheels to have, that's actually, each spoke is a Pontiac emblem.
and then you went with the single windshield wiper Lamborghini style.
It was just an idea to try to kind of clean it up more.
Yeah, it does.
But then you find out you have to rework the whole valence because those vents are all different shapes and stuff. So
Oh man.
it's pretty major stuff.
Yeah, that metal work. That would have been a big change order, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what's the story on the KTM?
Well, the KTM, I did work, it was one of my first client jobs and did promotional work for them. And they gave me the motorcycle as part of payment for work that I did for them.
Wow.
And I'm in the process of thinking about selling it because it's never been ridden. It's never had gas in it. That's actually a new motorcycle.
Brand new, never.
Yeah, right.
She was standing outside going, Dad, I want to buy a dirt bike.
Because,
She wants to learn to ride a motorcycle, and I told her not on the road. So that's, what year is this? It's got to be
79.
79?
Yeah.
brand new.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really
Easy
cool.
to like.
Really, really cool.
Oh, whoa.
Well,
You're reading a magazine. All right, so what are we looking at here?
car interest for me started with kind of classic cars and sports cars from earlier days.
Yeah.
And these two Corvettes were actually found at different times and ended up both being 66 427
Wow.
coupes. One with the 390 horsepower motor, the yellow car, and this is the 425 horse one. Solid lifter versus non-solid lifter.
Yeah.
What does the off mean? Does that just twist off to
Well, they're similar to the original knockoffs, but they bolt on. So they leave the knockoff thing because the knockoffs are so dangerous to use.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So they would have, this would have been a reverse thread. You'd have a lead hammer
yes,
that you would knock on this and it would spin that.
to
And
loosen
that's,
it.
and that's like it's a center lock nut for the wheel.
okay?
So knockoff style wheels, yeah. So,
Same with that.
but these are reproduction bolt on
Yes,
with a look.
because each one of these, if you find a new old stock one, is $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. This car had a purple velour interior, 6 taillights, a rear spoiler, and
6 taillights, you said?
yeah, and the front clip was broken off from another car. So,
What's just purple wasn't your favorite color or what?
well, these ended up NCRS is National Corvette Restorers
Right.
Society.
Yeah.
So that was the goal for these. So they're
Okay.
painted with lacquer, and they basically have
If you had asked me, I would have suggested they were original paint because I can tell that they're not
lacquer's different.
base clear.
Yeah, and then they're judged. Top Flight is a car that's 91% or higher in their judging, and I think this was 94. That was 96.
So are they both 4-speed cars?
Yeah.
Was that the only option on them at that?
Well, you could get a Power
Not-
Glide with the
you could get a Power
390
Glide.
because that was basically the same engine that came in an Impala. They're
And-
completely different personalities.
Yeah, I would imagine because I mean just the way they would sound, I would imagine would be different with the side pipes on
Right.
this one versus what would be a stock replacement. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
and a solid lifter car versus non. So, but they do certain things on these cars when they're judged, and if you make corrections too much, then you're hurt. Something like this, that little nub. If you fix that and straighten it, you lose points in judging.
Oh, this one right here, Caitlin.
Yeah,
See that?
and this photograph is what happened to the car after it was first judged. We went back to the first restorer's garage, and there was a fire in the garage.
Oh no.
And so it got burned from here back. So it was a real adventure at 2 o'clock in the morning, getting a phone call saying, I think I burned your car up.
Oh no.
And he got burned some too. So it was the first worry about him first. And
That is so cool.
55 Thunderbird is an original paint car, a 40,000-mile car. 3 summers ago, I decided that I wanted to try to have it get a 60s kind of look. So we changed wheels and tires, bumpers, interior, a few other details, and kept all the originals so it can go back to stock if it needs to.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of little things done on this car. The seats are Volkswagen GTI material.
Is the grill
The
different?
grill's new. Yeah.
What's a 55 Thunderbird got under the hood?
292. It's the only motor that was available.
I've got a 62 Fairlane, and that's the most I know about Fords. It's
Okay.
like got a
I wasn't-
170 inline 6 in it.
I wasn't a big Ford person, but now there's more Fords sitting around here than there are others.
You know, when we lived in Colorado, seeing stuff like this was like you had to go somewhere to a special show or museum or
Right.
whatever. Northern Ohio, there is so much car culture in this part of the country. It's astounding.
Actually, Good Guys a few years ago put a dot on Columbus, went 450 miles outside of that, and it was 65% of the collector cars, custom cars, and hot rods in the United States
Are within
that
a
circle.
day's drive of Columbus, which would make sense for why the Columbus
Yeah.
show is almost 7,000 cars.
Right.
So where did this come from? Was this a Northern Ohio car?
Actually, there's an interesting story with the car. It was stolen and abandoned on the Ohio Turnpike in 1957. And they got the car back and put it in a storage building for the wrecker, and it was there for 10 years. And then they decided that they could sell the car because the owner never reclaimed it. And it went to a guy in Vermilion who kept it another 3 or 4 years and then sold it to a second owner. And then he sold it to the guy I bought it from, who was in his late 70s when he decided to sell it.
Where do you get a reproduction steering wheel that looks like that?
That's actually a one-off steering wheel.
And then these headrest kind of scoops back here are not original to the design either.
No,
right?
actually, they're copies of the hood scoop reversed. And
Oh, sure.
but the interior guy made a big deal. After the seats were done, he came in and redid these
'Cause
so
he
that
didn't-
the red stripe had to line up. So,
I've got a wood bed in the back of my 47 Chevy that I was real particular. When I tell people, I was like, I had to make sure the grain lined up on the section that I cut out, and
Right.
and they're like, that's really dumb. And I was like, couldn't have lived with it otherwise. You're not just an old classics; you're a collector.
well, I bought these
Enthusiast.
cars and started on the restorations, and then built the first car, the first custom.
Okay, which we still haven't seen yet.
Yes.
You guys are going to want to see this Buick.
But these cars were both similar performance at the time, ZR1
Yeah.
Viper, but they
So is this a 94?
5.
95.
right, and they both super in demand when they first came out,
Right.
and then the market kind of slowed down for them. So I bought them at maybe the lowest point.
So I've heard, and of course I'm working off what other people are telling me and what I hear, because I've never driven a Dodge Viper, but I've heard that the first couple of years of production, these things are just like an absolute animal. Where the later years, the last couple of years they were doing it, they were a lot more manageable on the road.
Yeah, they did a lot more with. But the cool part about the early cars, and this is a 95, so 92s, 3s, and 4s are all built before these.
Okay.
But side curtains, I like that idea. No door handles, I like
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah.
It's just very much like a later Cobra.
These
And
have,
like
these
what-
have forward flipping hoods, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Come all the way forward. That's a V10. These are, they're naturally aspirated, aren't they?
Yeah. Go ahead, you can sit down.
It's got the bolsters on the side there.
Yeah.
Keep you pinned to your seat when you're going around a corner. What's the mileage say on there, Caitlin? Says
Should be about
low.
5,500.
Low, I bet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a ZR1.
Yep.
What was unique about this compared to a base model Corvette of the same year? Because this is what, a 94, 93?
90.
Oh, this is a 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first year. The motor is totally unique. Shares nothing with the regular 350. It's a 350, but it's a 4-cam, 32 valve.
Wow. So were they borrowing any technology from what would come later as like the North Star V8s that were 32
Well, I think
valve?
so, but actually they contracted with Mercury Marine to build this motor.
Oh, really?
That's who did it for them.
Oh.
So if you look at the window sticker over there, see what the ZR1 option is and what the base price is of the car.
Base price, Caitlin, $31,979. ZR1 special performance package, $27,056. Almost double the price to get the ZR1 package. Was it suspension work as well, or
it was the early adjustable suspension.
okay?
And basically every option was standard.
Yeah.
Plus, although people think ZR1s look like other Corvettes, they had different rear quarters, wider rear wheels, and like I say, every option that was available on them too. So
That is
very sophisticated car compared to the Viper.
Yeah, that the Viper was kind of like that seems so minimalistic to me.
Yeah, that was the whole idea. And I think if you like it, you like it. If people want something super sophisticated,
Yeah.
not even the later Vipers are not all that sorted out.
What's up, guys? Just want to take a quick minute here to say thank you. Caitlin and I didn't start this channel to be as big as it is today, and the truth of the matter is we're now recognizing there's a ton of more potential for growth. And to accomplish that, we know that we're going to have to work hard to develop a loyal base of viewers and subscribers, and now channel members. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. For $1.99, you can join the Shade Tree Nation here on YouTube as a channel member, and that's going to give you access to behind-the-scenes footage a couple times a month, a monthly live stream with Caitlin and myself where we get to interact with you about ideas and concepts and thoughts on the work we're doing, thoughts on work we should be doing, things we should never do again. That would be helpful to know. And then we're also going to give you 15% off of all your purchases at crossthreadgarage.com. The first 20 of you are going to get a free t-shirt from Caitlin and I. The American by Birth Shade Tree Mechanic by Necessity Shade Tree Nation tee is going to come your way. Click the button next to the subscribe button down below that says join, and it will bill you through YouTube every month. And we would be so grateful for your participation here in the shop, because without you guys, none of this really makes sense. So, thanks. All right, this is where oh man, you got a Chevy Love. Barry, killing me.
Well, I go to an event.
I love Chevy Loves.
I go to an event every year called Dropped and Destroyed in Akron because they really love the ride tech on the Buick and the Cadillac and stuff. Yeah. And a lot of those vehicles there are mini trucks, Rangers and S10s. And I said, I'd really like to do something sometime that would be unique and not have the kind of graphics and stance that those cars have. So we've already got a drawing together on this car. And I found this 2 years ago. Yeah, it was the city vehicle for that town. And one of the unique parts is it's not all rusty.
That is awesome.
But every panel is dented.
If it came from Wyoming, it's out west. We lived in Colorado for 12 years. Nothing rusted out there.
I know. Well, people said, though, that these rusted on the boats on the way over from when they were made. But it's
because these were basically a Isuzu truck, right?
They were in a Isuzu Pup.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's Chevrolet, so I can basically do anything motor-wise. And, one of the things that I've been thinking about, if you could ever find one, is a Cosworth Vega motor, which would be very cool for this. I think.
I've got a Cosworth Vega. Little preview here. Cosworth Vega Will It Run episode coming up on a car that's been sitting for 30 years in a storage unit.
Will it run?
I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. But it's a 75 Cosworth Vega. The fuel injection's been taken off. It's got dual side draft Webers on it right now, but he has the fuel injection stuff.
Like I say, this will be kind of a search for a motor, and it doesn't have to be that motor. It doesn't have to be a Cosworth Vega motor. It would just be a cool choice if one showed up.
It would be real neat.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see this one finished, but I love the diesel powered ones.
Oh yeah. That was the first generation?
There was a few
this is
years.
The second generation.
Yeah, so the first generation had more of a utility bed with like cleats on the side for tie-down straps and stuff.
Right, like the early Mazdas.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we had an older guy in our church in Colorado who had one that had like 60,000 miles on it.
Right.
He just drove it, in town 2-3 miles at a time. It was awesome.
Well, I can show you the artwork for this, but I don't share that. I don't want to shoot that because
I'd love to see it, but I won't put it on here.
We don't release that stuff.
So you got an Impala SS project here. Is that a true SS or is that just a clone badge?
Yes, and that's getting to the place where it might have to be a restoration instead of what I intended to do with it, which is pretty mild. This is the way this is supposed to look. I always do drawings first. But anyway, that's the approach.
That's sweet, though.
And the motor's almost built, so.
Can't show you the drawings, but it's killer. Caitlin, I think we found the car Mom's been looking for. She keeps telling us that she needs a little two-door, and she keeps saying Mini Cooper, but I know she means the new style.
She means the BMW Mini Cooper.
Yeah, not this
Not
one.
anything like this.
So this is well, I already saw the windshield here, so it's 1,000 cc.
It's got actually lots of room inside.
Yeah, I was just about to say, there's actually a ton of room in here.
That's awesome.
I actually covered auto racing in Europe in the early 70s. And
oh, really?
Bought a panel delivery version of this to use for my work car when I was there. Slept in it part of the time.
Man,
and
that is cool.
Came back and had to buy one. So started looking for one. And of course, everybody looks for a Cooper, but this is a 1000. So this is the luxury version of a Mini.
It's a Mini, not a Mini Cooper.
They start out this is an Austin Mini. So there's Morris Minis and Austin Minis. This is Austin Mini. But first front engine transaxle car ever for modern era.
Yeah, because the Accord was a front engine transaxle.
Right.
But
so this is first car, Buick. Second car, 64 Cadillac. Third car, 63 Impala over there on the wall. Fourth car was the GTO, I guess.
Wow.
And this was the seventh car, the 61 Thunderbird.
All right, so 61 Thunderbird we're looking at right here. We've obviously got custom wheels on it. Door handles have been shaved and done different.
That is the factory door handle.
No.
Yeah, but it had a push button on the door underneath it over here.
Down here?
So we got rid of that. But I love the pull idea, so
yeah,
it's very cool.
Yeah.
Where's
there was a button.
It's not there anymore.
He shaved it. So there was, like, you grabbed it here
and pushed it there.
Push the button down here.
Oh,
right.
We gotta stop assuming things.
I'm telling you, that's a clever design element.
There's so much room.
So are the wheels like a billet
Yeah.
stock? They're solid
It's a
wheel?
hot rod by Boyd wheel.
Okay.
There are 2 or 3 different, there's cast wheels, forged wheels, and then these are welded wheels, and they use a hoop and a center insert. Here, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Oh, you got it? Yeah. Cool. But I wanted them to look like the wheel covers that came on 61 Thunderbirds,
Yeah.
so that was the plan.
So guys, this is the vehicle that showed up at our car show this summer that got me thinking there's got to be more to this story.
Look at how shiny it is. Like a pearl color.
So we got the swing away steering wheel that lets you get out. So you actually pull it over and it locks in place.
You want to pull that hood release
Push it out
again,
of the
Steve?
way. Yeah.
There you go. You got it.
Got it. This is unbelievable.
And this car kind of shows how much the design parts worked since the first car. The way the paint looks, the way the engine room looks, the way the wheels and tires relate to the car.
Just unbelievable stuff. So how do you make this swing back out of the way? What's the
It should move now.
Does
It's
it-
in park.
Oh, it just pushes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to start pushing on it and break something. But so these inserts are even leather. They made to look like I would have thought that was fabric when I was standing 10 feet away.
We had it perforated, so it would look. It's very similar style to the original interior, but it's all new. And
Power windows all the way around.
yeah, these are very unique cars.
Yeah. It's the original motor,
Yeah.
or is this one you had built for it?
No, it's the original 390.
Original 390.
This is a very solid original car.
and again, I
part of
love
this,
I love the flat, or
Yeah.
what do you call this, satin, if you're
right.
finished
And the
on
details of the engine and stuff are much more upstream from the beginning. So
Yeah. I am in awe.
excuse me.
Look at the profile of this.
And one of the things I did on this, because I just thought it would be neat, is welding the skirts on. So if you need to change the tires, you have to take the axle off.
See how these look like. What year is this again? 59?
61.
61.
Yep.
So the taillights look like Mom's on her Fairlane. It's incredible that this car, Caitlin, is 1 year earlier than the Fairlane that we drove over here. So this, all the same styling cues, all the same, would have come out of the same design shop, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it just picks up.
Whoa.
I've forgotten you had the luggage back here.
Yeah.
Battery tray. Oh no, that's your pump for the
Yeah, plus the battery.
air system.
Right.
I'm in awe.
Yeah, for the airbags.
See, I told you we need stickers like this for our cooler.
That's got cleaning gear in that one.
Man, the attention to detail is
It's all about it.
astounding.
You have to.
So this is the car that started it all for Barry, right? This Buick LeSabre. It's a LeSabre, right?
Low Sabre.
Low Sabre is what you're calling it.
Right. But it is a LeSabre.
I get that. It is a little low.
Logo's
So-
on the trunk
Oh,
and the hood.
Low Sabre. So what did you have to do here to massage the design?
There should be a photograph on the front on that board.
So it's a 59
And it was
custom grill, or was this?
yeah.
This is all custom here.
Well, just going around the car, the bumpers were modified, grill one off, motor rebuilt, but the original nailhead engine.
So is that one thing for you that you don't want to be doing a lot of custom work and then put a huge modern motor in it? seems like you're looking for
I mean,
the engine that came with it.
Right, LSs are the standard insert because they're available and cheap. But
Yeah.
I try to go brand and brand. If it costs $7,000 to rebuild that motor or $7,000 to buy an LS, what's
Right.
the difference?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, all these cars are brand and a brand.
That is neat. So these push buttons, was that the factory?
No, it had a regular door handle
Door
up
han-
here, but that was the lock for the original door.
So the lock was there, and now it's a release button for
Right.
the door. Wow.
And
Pop that open, Caitlin.
since it's not hooked up, you gotta go this way.
The old body by Fisher. So this car now is how old?
20 years old.
20 years old since you built it. Is it actually a push button start?
No, I put that in.
I put one of those on my 47 Chevy, and all it does is honk the horn.
That's actually from a S2000 Honda.
Oh,
It's our security system.
Uh-huh.
So everybody goes to try and start it. And
Right.
lock it. There's one under the seat.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
tell them where the actual
Yeah, don't
one
tell
is.
me. They're gonna ruin everything.
Books are so big. We could have a picnic in the trunk of our Fairlane.
Yeah. Even down to the carpeted inserts here. It's really, really neat.
Well, it was really fun because it ended up being in 12 magazines. It ended up being featured in a bunch of different promotional items and stuff. And it was like, all I wanted to do was build kind of a cool custom.
And you're telling me that the first recognition of it was when you were at the Good Guys show in Columbus, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You're 100 feet into the, or 100 yards into the show,
Right.
and somebody's wanting to do a feature and an
Right.
article on you.
So talking to guys who've been going to Good Guys for events, they usually go down there, put their fold down chair in the same place every year, sit down and talk to their friends. I never even got to that place. People said, what are you going to do next? And I said, well, I've got this 64 Cadillac that was maybe going to be a restoration project. And it ended up being this. So this car went to whole different places from this car. It went to Good Guys as long as you kept the suspension up a certain amount. Once it got completely slammed, then it became another car that had to go in its own way. And this car actually made money going to lowrider events.
Really?
And it was a great experience because going to those events is just socially a whole different animal
Yeah.
from going to Good Guys or NCRS or NSRA, whatever. But,
Cadillac Cambier.
it was a lot of fun and still is. A friend of mine took it to a traditional Cadillac LaSalle Antique Car Club event. And when he drove in, they were like, we don't want this car here. Go park back in the corner. Parked back in the corner and opened the doors and slammed the car. And it won Best of Show at the end of the day. And of course, the people who were running the event didn't like that at all.
That's just unbelievable. 64, you said?
Yeah. But the Cadillac and a Cadillac thing, that's
Yeah.
cloth from a 77 Cadillac.
I had a 64 and a 65 Lincoln Continental that I wish
Yeah, back.
I had back. Yeah. Those are the two cars I'll never have an opportunity again.
Yeah.
Maybe I will, but I bought them in February of 2020.
Uh-huh.
March 2020, the world turned upside down, and I said, I got 20 grand wrapped up in two cars. I probably
sell.
shouldn't have that right now. So I sold both of them. The 65 was a parts car. It didn't have a title, but it was all there.
Right.
It didn't have a title. Had the motor just kind of sitting in there sideways, and a raccoon had been living in the back seat for a while, but at the end of the day, it's still a 65
Right.
Lincoln Continental,
Yeah.
suicide doors, and whew.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Well, this was kind of early into the engine cover thing, so
Yeah.
it got special attention because I decided to do it kind of uniquely.
Look at that, Caitlin. That is wild. So, was this the product of a sketch that you had put together, or was this
Yeah.
something an artist that was drawing your cars
I started,
did for
and
you?
I was working with the artist when we did it, but I said I wanted to have something that could be cover the engine, but also be accessible. And
Wow.
the center section can be lifted up, and the other ones can just be unbolted. But you can just lift that part. Yeah.
This can be lifted up.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
So
Scratch something.
while you're there,
So yeah.
the vents are a thing that actually Bill Mitchell had done on a Riviera custom that they did at General Motors.
These
And
vents here.
yeah, it uses engine vacuum. So when you start the car, they flip open like blinds, like window blinds.
Yeah.
And then when you shut the car off, they close again.
Wow.
I just thought it was a very cool look.
So does this kind of cover make it run a little bit hotter with it?
No, it's never been an issue. Plus, it's got a secondary fan too.
That is sweet. Man, that is cool. Love the, what do they call these? Dagmars?
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of an iconic styling on the front bumpers.
You know
of
what
these
that's
Cadillacs.
about, right?
Was it an actress?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's named after an actress.
Voluptuous
an actress from the 50s. So this Cadillac and this Cadillac don't share a lot in common, do they?
No, they don't.
So what's
This is
going
an
on with this
original
one?
paint survivor.
I can see that lacquer is a little thin on top here.
Yeah. What you try to do with this is do what's called the sympathetic restoration.
Yeah.
You know, you do the bottom part of the bumpers was done. But the interior is original too, which
Really?
is very hard to do.
Oh man. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Caitlin, come over here. Caitlin was looking at all these posters on the wall.
I love the height.
Watch this right here. So that's a drip rail for rain that kept it going over the outside of the door so it wouldn't come in. And it's on a closing mechanism with the door here. And there's probably, oh no, there isn't. There's just one right there.
Plus, it
Flips
was
it in,
designed to
flips it out.
continue this line, continue that trim
Oh
line.
yeah, and it kept that going. That is so slick. And what's the year on this one?
What's that?
What's the year on this?
1955.
55. I don't know about you, but I think the early 60s was the best design era.
It's usually the era where you grew up that people love. I mean, I hear people now saying, "Man, the cars in the '90s were so cool,"
Ugh, no.
because they grew up in the '90s.
I'm almost Gen X. I'm not quite, but the 80s cars have no appeal to me at all. No appeal at all.
It's like music. I'm amazed how many '80s rock stations there are now versus 60s and '70s and '90s. Because people think history starts when they were born.
Yeah, exactly. Caitlin, come back here and look at where the exhaust is coming out here. On both sides.
This is the thing that,
So that's kind of a early Corvette thing.
well, GM was doing all kinds of weird stuff in every division at that point.
What's that? What?
That's the fuel fill. Push it down and latch it.
I was gonna lift it up again. Oh, it's a button.
That is pretty neat.
So cool.
But these cars are just
You want
amazing.
to
The
ask if
quality.
you can hop in there?
Go ahead. It's no problem. Steering wheel is amazing.
Seats are so comfy.
hmm
Look at. What a bubble.
That is cool.
Like I said, this is what's called a sympathetic restoration. So it's basically detailing everything. And it's very well done. But like this stuff, that was original. And everything else under the hood's original.
So I love the old, like the glass jars and the bags and
Yeah, and
all
those bad wing air cleaners, hot
Yeah.
rodders,
oh, they love
they
those.
were stolen for a long time. Now they
Yeah.
repop them, but
Yeah,
I don't even think they're that size yet. So
but that's an original, huh?
yeah, that's an original.
So did you go through and when you said sympathetic, did you pull the motor and detail the motor, or is that all original paint there too?
The motor was pulled by a guy, a super Cadillac fan
Mm-hmm.
in Cleveland who had a shop, and he detailed the motor and made sure everything was correct. And then the other thing about this car, the the wheels on this car are called Sabre wheels,
Okay.
and they're aluminum and steel, and they were a factory option on 55 Cadillacs.
Aluminum and steel, huh?
Yeah, and they have to be riveted together. And if you restore one and redo it, it's like $1,000 a piece just for the restoration. Then you do the wheel. But
Yeah,
these,
because with dissimilar metals, you get a lot of corrosion.
oh
don't you?
yeah, yeah. But while he was working on this car, he said, "You were looking for some of those Sabre wheels for your car, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, there's a guy that has some here that look about like your car. They're not perfect, but they look kind of like a Survivor. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Sure." And so he said, "Well, come into the shop and I'll show them to you." When I got there, they're already mounted and ready to go. He knew I would have to have them. So that's kind of how it works sometimes.
That's a good salesman.
Yeah, he was a good salesman.
Well, Barry, I don't suppose you got anything else to show us, do you?
In the building where you drove in, the next project is there, plus a couple other projects to come.
Well, Caitlin, what do you think?
Are you familiar with unibody pickup trucks?
Yes. I mean, I know that they are like a 1 or 2 year only.
Right.
What is a 64, 60?
61 through 63.
61 through 63. Yeah.
You know why they're cool? No separate bed. So
Yeah. So this is all, you see
Right.
how this is all molded into one?
Yeah.
You can't take the bed off. Yeah.
So when they introduced them, if some farmer put a bunch of milk crates in the back and you went around a corner, the doors would fly open. So that's why they only lasted 3 years.
Because it twists the whole.
Right.
Unlatched. Whee! Oh, that's cool. So where'd this one come from? Because this has way too little rust on it to be an Ohio truck.
It was a project that a guy had that it was just in this state when I bought it like 4 years ago. And he was a Chevy guy. And he took this in on trade on a project that he did. And he said, "I want this Ford truck out of here." So
Wow.
that was how it started.
Well, somebody put some new hinges on it for you, didn't they?
Yeah, we just did that. But I think this may eventually just have that Y-block in it
Yeah.
instead of a Coyote motor or whatever.
Yeah. Why does it say radio up there?
I have no idea.
That's cool. It almost looks like something's written over there too.
0160.
There's writing on the firewall.
Mhm.
You think that could be where the factory
Yeah.
chalk marks were,
Yep.
and it just rusted because
Yeah.
of the moisture held in the wax
Right.
or something?
That's so cool.
That is pretty neat.
Because this hasn't been touched much.
All right. Well, before we're done here, Barry, why don't you tell us a little bit about the future design projects? Because that's what this custom cab that we talked about already is. So somebody might look at this and say, "Boy, that looks like a pretty sweet, driver, survivor." What's the motivation for customizing cars that are in this good of condition? Are they in good condition?
I try to find cars that need it all but have it all. That's the basic format. But these Corvettes are bargains right now.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought it would be a great place to start for this kind of autocross project I want to try to do.
So this is what year is the Stingray?
76.
76. Automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Luggage rack. I like that. So autocross is the goal for this. So you're going to do
Autocross style. Yeah.
Autocross style.
Aggressive, kind of low. And the Comet was just a cute car that I thought would make a potential very nice. I don't use the word resto mod. To me, they're custom concepts. So that's kind of the idea for the Comet.
Yeah, nothing you're doing is really indicative of restoration.
Yeah. And resto mods like a 57 Corvette that's got an LS and different wheels and tires. That's more the resto mod
Right. Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, what year is this Comet? Did you say is a 64?
64. Right.
So I mean, 64 convertible, anything
Yeah.
is got to be a sweet little ride. Has this ever been painted, or is this all original paint?
That's pretty much all original paint. It was, I think, originally from Georgia. But
Wow.
the theory is if they were building a new 1964 Comet today with the technology that's available and the aftermarket that's available, how would it look?
Yeah.
So that's like the 64 GTO is like a really good example of that.
Right.
If they made a 64 GTO today,
Yeah.
what would it
Yeah.
look like? I think it would look like that or close to it.
That's awesome.
Audible gasp.
Love the smell, huh?
I'm flabbergasted, dumbfounded, in awe.
Yeah, it's perfect. A great smell. Way to finish out the night, huh? Well, kiddo, what do you think about that?
I flabbergasted, dumbfounded, in awe,
I hope.
shocked,
I
shook,
hope that.
shaking in my boots.
I hope that some of the stuff Caitlin was saying got caught on our mics, but I wanted to make sure that we got him on a good mic. So I'm not sure we got everything, but I know this one isn't a whole lot of like dad jokes and fun and joking around, but
Where are you going?
wrong side of the car. Or I thought you wanted to drive.
Yeah, see, last time I tried to put it in a gear, I ended up putting it in reverse as we were moving.
Cold start.
Look at that.